activities have started. If you are somebody who've been thinking about skiing, I certainly have. It's for the young and the old, it's for people of all ages, and it is also much more affordable, let me put it that way, than going to Switzerland, because this is no less. So, of course, Ishan, making all of us jealous, is back on the slopes of Gulmarg, and this is what he found out.
Night time, the temperatures here dips up to -12 degrees Celsius. But in the morning, what keeps people going in Gulmarg is its mesmerizing beauty.
The winter paradise of Kashmir, Gulmarg welcomes people after a long pause. Located north of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Gulmarg has attracted travellers, tourists and winter sports lovers for decades. After a dry summer, there are people thronging the town of Gulmarg after delayed snowfall. Tourism players and adventure lovers from across the country are arriving in Gulmarg for skiing and snowboarding activities.
This is my third time in Gulmarg, and my son and my husband come here almost every year. And I'd never seen any place so beautiful. It's really nice, and skiing especially is very good. The snow quality is very nice.
पूरे दुनिया में नहीं ऐसे नज़ारे मिलेंगे आपको. ये हिंदुस्तान की शान है. यहाँ हर टूरिस्ट को आना चाहिए.
Every corner in Gulmarg offers a postcard-worthy view with the best slopes in South Asia for winter activities. This is not all. It also hosted the Khelo India Winter Games recently, which was a grand success. The slopes at Gulmarg are made for the experienced as well as the beginners. Surrounded by the western Himalayas, Gulmarg has been called the heartland of winter sports. The powdery snow glistens under the sun, inviting enthusiasts to ski down its slopes and embark upon a tranquil walk through the enchanting scenery.
I've come to Kashmir many times. This is my 5th time, I think. I'm learning a lot about skiing here. If I were to do it on my own, I don't know if I would have learned nearly as much. So the trainers are here are really good.
बहुत अच्छा वेदर है यहाँ का, और ये देख के ऐसा लग रहा है कि जन्नत सच में अर्थ पर ही है. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है.
बिल्कुल जन्नत यही है. स्विट्जरलैंड कुछ नहीं है, जो यहाँ इंडिया है.
Gulmarg becomes a sanctuary of serenity and beauty, captivating visitors with its timeless charm and awe-inspiring vistas. Snowfall also attracts ski lovers from countries like Russia, Australia and New Zealand, among others. This year the tourist influx is high, all thanks to heavy snowfall, which has brought joy to the faces of tourism players. The winter bells have attracted people from afar, and all this has led to a surge in flights and hotel bookings, a major boost for tourism in the region. Travellers boarding flights from Delhi to Srinagar roughly pay between 7,500 to 10,000 rupees. If you are boarding a flight from Mumbai or Kolkata, you roughly pay a minimum of 9,000 up until rupees 18,000 by economy class. Travelling from Chennai and Bengaluru can pinch your pocket, as you need to shed a minimum of rupees 13,000 to 25,000 to reach Srinagar. Upon arrival at Srinagar airport, it takes 1 hour and 40 minutes when you take the scenic route by road, and costs rupees 3,000 to 3,500 rupees. Once you reach Gulmarg, the next big task is to fix your accommodation. Options range from cozy hotels with good heating to luxurious 5-star resorts. A decently priced hotel would cost you about rupees 10,000 to 15,000 per night, while the prices would soar up to rupees 30,000 or more for a 5-star resort. A one-way trip to Gulmarg, including flights, the drive to Gulmarg from Srinagar, hotel bookings and expenses for skiing with professional instructors would amount to rupees 23,000 to rupees 45,000 based on tourist preference. Many are comparing Gulmarg with Switzerland in winter because of what it has to offer. According to the estimates of Tourism Department, 33% of the population in J&K is directly or indirectly connected with this tourism activity.
we would always fantasize always going to Switzerland, taking our kids, but why not in Kashmir? I think when you have things and places to locally visit, we should empower our own brothers and sisters who have hotels, especially the guides who teach our children. I have had a very lovely guide with my kid here, very professional, so why not empower our own society?
इंशाल्लाह हमारा मतलब काम यहाँ पर ठीक चल रहा है और गेस्ट भी बहुत सारे आते हैं तो आएंगे भी मतलब अभी बुकिंग कैंसिल हो रही थी तो अब बर्फ भी अच्छा है तो अब बुकिंग फिर से आ रही है
Each snowflake adds to the allure of this picturesque destination as the pristine white layer drapes over the majestic mountains and lush forests.
Not only tourists or people who have already booked their visits to Kashmir, but also those who are associated with this business, because snowfall would mean that more and more people will come here to Gulmarg and enjoy its mesmerizing beauty and the slopes that it has to offer, particularly in the winter season. With Bashir Lone in Gulmarg, Ishan Wani for CNN News 18.
Ishan clearly has the best job in the world. Sometimes he's in this really beautiful train that looks like he's in middle of Narnia, then he's skiing. But in all of that, he's also giving us some goals. And summer is coming, so like that lady over there said, ditch Europe, go to Srinagar. That will be much more fulfilling and it will help us, when I say us Indians and the tourism over there as well. On that note, it's time to sort of move on and talk to our next guest on the program. Now, she's somebody very interesting. Her name is Pratyusha Vemuri. Pratyusha, hi, good morning. Welcome to TVC. Let me give people a little bit of an introduction about you. So, all of us today know someone who has been scammed. We all know someone who's been defrauded online or through some OTP scam or something or the other. Pratyusha was just like us. She was working with Microsoft, not in India, and despite being so aware, fell for a scam. That's when she decided to come back to India and start something called AI Kavach. I love the name. It's like literally a Kavach or a safeguard against all these scams that happens. She obviously had this kick-ass idea, took it to Shark Tank and Sequoia, all of them are backing her now. So Pratyusha, before I spill out all the beans, why don't you get us started with what exactly is the level of scams that we're looking at the moment? Like I said, we all know someone who's been scammed in our family, in our friends, etc.
Yeah.
How bad is the problem at the moment?
Yeah, actually, the fraud is an extremely scary issue right now because everybody is coming online, right? The digitalization has exponentially increased. So to give you some numbers, in 2022, the estimated loss for just frauds has been $6.1 trillion. Only payment fraud is supposed to be exceeding $343 billion over the next 5 years, right? Account takeover attacks have increased 354% only in 2023. Right, identity theft is expected to grow to $635 billion in 2023. So the numbers are pretty insane, and yeah, I hope we all are protected well, both businesses and consumers.
Right. You said a couple of things which you and I understand, but I want to sort of Asan Bhasha may make it easy for our viewers to understand. When you say identity theft, what does that mean? And when you say account takeover, what does that mean?
Yeah, so identity theft is something when maybe your KYC or some kind of Aadhaar information has been leaked online, right? So in the dark web or anywhere, somebody gets hold of it and then they impersonate you and then they try to live a life like you, apply loans on your behalf, and it's just like a parallel person operating like you and you would have no idea, right? So that is identity theft. They've stolen your identity. Account takeover is when somebody has unauthorized access to my account, right? Like, and then they make some unauthorized transactions. So it could be through phishing, it could be through data breaches. Somehow they got hold of maybe your Amazon account or a Myntra account or your bank account. And then they go in and operate like you. And then they make transactions on your behalf. That's account takeover.
Now this is quite scary because what happens is all of us have a single Google sort of ID. We hate making multiple ones, that we keep logging in to all different websites, and if that one thing is lost, then everything is at risk. I don't really have a solution to it, do you?
Yeah, so basically we started off with AI Kavach, which is a consumer product to protect consumers from, false websites, false SMSs and so on. We've hence pivoted to B2B as well completely. It's called RaptorX AI now. And that is what is backed by Sequoia and even the sharks as well. So what we provide is an advanced behavior biometrics based solution where we look at keystroke patterns, typing patterns, where are they coming from, device fingerprinting. We look at all of that, and then we build a customer profile, and then we do a life cycle risk assessment of the user. So whenever anybody logs in, even if they have your account credentials, right, we will be able to figure out from the way they're typing, where they're typing, how they're typing, the speed of typing, the pressure of typing, that, hey, it is not you. All right. So businesses, if they use us, they will be able to stop the account takeover attacks. And even device fingerprinting, right? Like we will be exactly know that this is the kind of device that the user usually uses. It's not matching. Have they emulated a device? Is it a jailbroken device? We look at all of that as well. So we look at that.
So how do you tell? Yeah. How
so
are you able to get so much information?
Yeah, so this is all anonymized information. There is no personal information tracked, right? So whenever it's an SDK that is integrated into the business platform, and then we would build a anonymous profile of that user, right? Where it is not saying that Pratyusha does this. Some Pratyusha call it has an X user ID. That X user ID has these characteristics. And if there's any deviation in behavior, we're going to flag that. And then we use our own unsupervised machine learning. There's a couple of machine learning models that we use. The machine learns by itself that, hey, this looks fraudulent, and then it predicts that for the banks or e-commerce as well. So it's a lifetime risk assessment.
I like how, I get it. I like how in times when AI is being used for so many scams, AI is also being used to detect these scams, and that's what essentially what you're doing. You're saying that we're going to catch on to it, and we're going to catch on to. I know your business has now moved a lot to B2B when you say that you're providing services to, say, Airtels and banks and others to ensure that they safeguard their websites and thus our accounts, etc. But if you had to, since this is TBC and we are all looking out for consumer interest and people, I want people to take away something from this conversation, are there some quick tips that you can share with our viewers, stuff that they should apply in their day-to-day life to ensure that they're not falling prey to these scams?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I even wrote a book about it, how to be digital dummies for cyber safety. So that is a book that actually is on the market right now. So it lists everything. Right? So I'll just summarize a bit. One is, make sure a very basic thing is HTTPS security, all that is there. But these are fraud websites, right? These are not insecure websites. So you have to make sure you go through the entire website to look at as small as, maybe the grammatical errors. What are the return policies? Do they have phone numbers or no? Do they have a digital presence or no? Are they on Facebook or are they on Instagram? What are the reviews of it? We look at all of that too. Look at the owners, right? Like, and do they have anything else that they've done in the past? Right? So at least as a user, see, if it's AI, it can do a lot more in the back end. But on the front, on the face front, we can look at that. And the basic thing, again, it's a very greed-based thing. But of course, like, as humans, we tend to get excited, especially during Diwali sales or something like that, right? If something is way too off in the pricing, right? So definitely be cautious, because it is not that common to have like more than 80% off sale, right? So I think especially Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, just be wary of them. Especially during sales, just try to stick to the ones that you actually know, like Amazon's or something like that, which are more safer than a random website which is promising like an 80% off. And the same thing for SMSs as well, right? Like if someone's telling you and they operate on urgency, a lot of these people, they know that we are busy, more than ever. This generation is very, very busy. We do not have the time. So they go like, hey, you have to pay right now. I need your OTP. Hey, this is going to get disconnected. I have to leave right now. So just take a step back. Nothing is that urgent. take a step back, talk to the right people from your banks or anybody, right? Just don't fall for those, is what I would recommend, like basic hygiene. But the book will go a lot more in detail.
In fact, it's funny you mentioned this because just yesterday I got a call saying that your number will be discontinued. Please press 9 to continue. And I was like, how is anybody telling me that my number will be discontinued? What is going to happen? So the first thing I did was take a recording of this and figure out, okay, what it was. I kept waiting, nothing happened. And I figured it's a fraud, so I cut it out. But that's what I'm saying. That's the level. Everybody almost on a day-to-day basis is getting these scams. And there is such huge scope of making sure, I mean, we are going through a journey. I'm sure we'll sort of discover better ways to sort of do it. But consumer awareness, like you rightly said, is the key, especially in this phase of our lives. Go ahead.
No, there was one, very interesting one again that happened. There was a supposed delivery I was expecting on Amazon recently. And this guy called me and I was out of town in Delhi. And he said, oh, ma'am, if you're not at home, I'll just leave it with the security guy, which happens sometimes. So I said, yeah, fine, just leave it there. And then I said, I'm busy, just call my husband to take the payment. So he called my husband and he was like, oh, ma'am just told me to make the payment. I've already left at security, right? So he tried to make my husband pay some 5,000 rupees saying that ma'am has already approved it and it is already the security. And he made a security impersonating guy. So some guy saying that he is from my security called me and said, ma'am, we have received the package.
Gosh.
And when my husband went there was nothing. Right? So that is the level that is happening. So this guy knew that, I think he was one of the delivery guys who may have actually seen our house and knew that it does happen that, the parcels can
Not
be
just
left.
your house, it happens in everybody's houses, including mine.
Yeah, but that is how they even know us, right? They know that, hey, I'm busy and they know I was traveling and it could be one of the delivery guys, right? So very, very smart and over smart to an extent, yeah.
Well, everybody's getting smarter. It's that age, so you've got to outsmart them. And the only key to doing that is bracing yourself with the right information and knowing what exactly is happening. Knowledge is key, information is key, and that's exactly what we are trying to do here on TBC. Thanks so much, Pratyusha, for joining us, and good luck with everything that you're doing. AI Kavach sounds quite exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. All the best.
All right, and like I said, information is key and knowing that is going to take you places. But sometimes you just go out on a weekend, have a meal, and you end up in a hospital. I'm talking about what's happened in Gurgaon. In Gurgaon, a couple of friends had a get-together, decided to go out to a cafe. Out of 5, 4 of them in fact ended up in a hospital. There was a 1-year-old kid also who thankfully did not consume it. I'm talking about the visuals that have gone viral. I'll request my producers to play them out as well for you. It is horrifying how you are consuming mouth freshener, soft, that we all pop at the end after we've had a hearty meal and we are pushing out after a good time at a restaurant. It turned out to be dry eyes. Look at the story that Money Control has filed on what exactly happened. Then we will speak to those people who actually experienced it and they will give you a first-hand account.
Consuming mouth freshener turned out to be a nightmare for 5 friends in Gurugram. They all began vomiting blood and complained of cuts on their tongue after eating what they were told was mouth freshener. All of them were hospitalized later. But how did eating a mouth freshener lead to this? On March 2nd, the 5, Neha Sabharwal, Manika Goenka, Preetika, Deepak Arora and Himani, along with others, were having dinner at La Foresta Cafe in Sector 90 around 9:30 p.m. Ankit Kumar, who was also part of the group and the complainant in the case, said after they finished eating, a waiter offered them a mouth freshener. Upon consuming it, they experienced a burning sensation in their mouths, followed by bleeding, and they started throwing up blood. Ankit then called police and arranged for an ambulance to take his friends to RV Hospital in Sector 90 Gurgaon and had no help from restaurant staff as they fled from the scene. The complainant claimed the doctor examined the mouth freshener sample which he had taken along with him and said it was dry ice. According to police, they have filed a first information report at the Kherki Daula police station under the IPC sections of causing hurt by poisoning and criminal conspiracy against the waiter who gave them the substance. Meanwhile, the restaurant's manager Gagan said it was the negligence of the staff that led to the incident. Now another question. What is dry ice that is at the center of this incident? Dry ice is solid carbon dioxide, the same molecule we exhale in gaseous form. It is a lethal substance. According to the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, dry ice is commonly used as a cooling agent for food products like ice cream, frozen desserts, etc. It is frequently used for food items that need to be cold or frozen without the use of mechanical cooling. It must never be touched even with bare hands, let alone ingested. With a surface temperature of -78.5 degrees Celsius, it can cause severe frostbite and skin burns if touched without protective gloves. Additionally, it doesn't melt into liquid when heated and instead changes into gas, which can cause fatalities in confined spaces and explosions in sealed containers. According to FSSAI, it should be used or exposed to open air in a ventilated environment. Now, what happens if you ingest dry ice? If consumed, it can burn your esophagus, rupture your stomach, result in serious internal injuries and even prove fatal. According to the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, inhaling dry ice can cause hypoxia and hypoxemia. It may even choke you as it can reduce the oxygen in the lungs when ingested.
This treatment is same as we treat burns, oral burns by alkali. And first of all, remove that substance from the mouth. Rinse the mouth with relatively cold water, because suddenly if you take hot water in the mouth thinking that cold has caused the injury, then it will be further complicated. Immediately one can apply steroid cream. We have steroid creams like the oral paste of steroids. That should be applied in abundance, and don't forcefully rinse your mouth. And if one has vomiting tendency, then we have to treat by giving intravenous injection to stop vomiting.
Hope you found this video informative.
All right, so that is what happened. We also got down to meet with the families to understand from them what exactly transpired at that moment. Did they have no idea? Did it not look suspicious? And importantly, what happened when they consumed it? This is the story of the couple who perhaps got it easy. There are about 2 people still in hospital right now. But right now, listen in to what Neha Sabharwal and Ankit Kumar experienced.
Right now, I am feeling very lucky that I have come back from ICU. My other friends are still in the hospital. They are admitted in ICU. So I'm just praying to God that they are okay. I took that some flakes on, I kept it on my tongue and it blasted. It was feeling like some acid attack has happened inside my mouth. Whole my mouth started burning sensation. It was burning so badly, so badly. Blood was coming out. I was not even aware that blood is coming out or what is happening. I was just worried about, oh my God, something is burning inside. Will I be able to talk or not? What is happening with me? It was a very, very bad experience for me. Thank God my daughter is saved. My husband is saved so that he is taking care of my daughter. We were helpless right there. We were screaming. We were just wanted. My mind stopped working. Only one thing was in my mind, that this burning sensation should stop somehow. Somehow, just somebody help me to stop it. It will burn my entire thing inside my mouth. I thought it is going to be very, very bad, very, very bad. Somehow I'm out of danger, out of everything, but one of my very close dear friend is still in ICU, and I think he has intake that thing has gone inside his food pipe also, so there are ulcers there. So I just pray that he gets well.
We just went for casual dinner on Saturday night. So after dinner, it was everything good. We cleared the bill and we were about to leave. Meanwhile, I was handling my daughter, 1-year-old, and 5 of them, including my wife. So they were taking pictures because they met after a long time. So they were having pictures, and meanwhile that restaurant staff came and they offered that sugar flakes kind of thing in open bowl. Okay, so as soon we were in a queue just because of taking picture, and she was offering each one of us without any ask from our side. So one by one they were taking until the ball came to me. So I just picked few flakes, and meanwhile all 5 of them started crying for help. It was as sudden that as soon they put in their mouth 1 or 2 flakes, I don't remember how exactly it was, but within a second or maximum 2 seconds, it exploded, and they were crying for help. There was bleeding from their mouths, and they were vomiting like hell. Even they were crying for help, and entire restaurant staff locked themselves into their kitchen. Nobody was there to help, and we were left on our own. Somehow he pulled that waiter or some staff, I don't remember who it was, and somehow he indicated that this pack, he given this substance from this particular packet. I took them took it in my custody. There was nothing was written on that. It was simple polythene and some sugar flake kind of thing. It was there inside. And I was begging them just to tell the name at least, that what is this product, so that I can arrange the medical help accordingly. But they didn't even bothered to tell, and they didn't ready to help anything. So I had to call police, and after a long wait of 40-45 minutes, police officials came over there. Till the time every was down on the floors, everywhere the blood, vomiting. So I was begging them just to don't wait for the ambulance, and just make us reach to the hospital with our own cars, because we were there with 2 cars. I was requesting I will drive 1 car and one you can, any of the police officers, but they were only requesting us to wait for the ambulance. So I made my call because I could not wait further. Already 40-45 minutes were over. So myself somehow managed to bring all 5 members in along with my daughter, and driving by one hand to the nearest hospital.
Imagine the plight of these people, terrible, and how some of them still in the hospital. It could happen to anybody. But what are the checks and balances that are to be put in place? And importantly, what should you do if you are ever confronted in a situation, hopefully never land up in the hospital in ICU like this, but if you ever face food poisoning at restaurants, if the food doesn't agree with you, if there is some other issue, what is the policy? What should you be doing? To chat us about that, we've got Professor Bijon Mishra joining us, International Consumer Policy Expert. Good morning. Sir, just want to understand, in this case, the gentleman here, thankfully, since he wasn't the one who had consumed it, he was, like he explained in his, interaction, he was the last in line. So he sort of saw what was happening to the others and thus could act upon it. Otherwise, imagine what would have happened, and the restaurant had no idea. They first called the cops. They then they managed to drive to the hospital. That led to a full delay of about an hour or so, those crucial, critical time that was lost. But I was just thinking, if this were to happen, the first thing you have to do is get to the hospital, secure yourself. But then he had the mind, what he did had the mind was to pick up a sample, to take that packet from the waiter and show it to the doctor, so the doctors at least knew what they were treating. So it was smart thinking at that point. Do you have some tips for people on what they should be doing in a situation like this? What is your first port of call? What do you do, and how do you address these issues?
Yeah, the story is horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. And I must confess, the observer who was there, as you mentioned very rightly, he worked in a very responsible manner. The first thing everybody should do is to call the police. 100. That's an easy number to remember and also call. And they are supposed to report to you in less than 5 minutes. But here it took more than 40 minutes. That is not a good indicator in terms of response. So we all need to call the police first of all, and then naturally the police will call the ambulance. So there are certain states which has a ambulance emergency number also, like 112 and things like that. And there are a number of emergency numbers which should be not only recalled but also displayed in food joints, in important public places where citizens should be able to recall that number immediately and call them. That's the first thing. And of course, the smartest, kind of response was by the observer was to collect the sample. It's very important to have the sample on the spot collected and then witnessed by people who are responsible people. They stand as witness and then go ahead to get into the prosecution mode, like FIR, as you mentioned. There was an FIR also filed at the nearest police station. But another very important thing, which your viewers must know, is to be able to follow up with the regulator. Like in this case, the regulator is the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, and also the State Drug and Food Authority. The State Drug and Food Authority. Every state should have a literally 24/7 helpline number. You see, the helpline number has to be 24/7. In most of the helpline numbers in my country, unfortunately, are not 24/7. They work only during office hours. They don't work like an emergency. And that's a very, kind of a challenging task. But these kind of episodes actually should wake up the governance and should be able to bring in interventions which are stronger than what it is existing today. And as citizens, I feel very strongly.
I think proper checks on and regular visits to restaurants, right? There are checks that happen on hygiene. There are checks that happen on other standards being met. There should be checks happening on where the placement of things are. And the biggest issue here is that the person who served the waiter there did not know. Their awareness is key. So who's doing those checks is also perhaps really important. And again, the standard of the restaurant, standard of the cafe really comes at play over here on how vigilant they are. But this should, you're rightly saying, a wake-up call to a lot of people, especially the restaurant owners, because now we know there's a police complaint against the owner and the waiter. But we wait to see what really comes out of that. Thanks so much, sir, for joining us with the very latest on that.
Thank you.
On that note, let's take a quick break, but coming up on the other side, no more trauma, but maybe of the one that you should know about, which is a kind of a stress test that has been done and an impact test that has been done on the latest car by Tata. Kranti Sambhav with that report on the other side. Come right back.
Congratulations.
All right, so like I said, middle of the week, and we are all looking for a bit of inspiration. And like we promised last week, we will take you back to Kashmir. This time we will go to Gulmarg, where it snowed finally after the delay and winter activities have started. If you are somebody who've been thinking about skiing, I certainly have. It's for the young and the old. It's for people of all ages, and it is also much more affordable, let me put it that way, than going to Switzerland, because this is no less. So of course, Ishan, making all of us jealous, is back on the slopes of Gulmarg, and this is what he found out.
time, the temperatures here dips up to -12 degrees Celsius. But in the morning, what keeps people going in Gulmarg is its mesmerizing beauty.
The winter paradise of Kashmir, Gulmarg welcomes people after a long pause. Located north of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Gulmarg has attracted travellers, tourists and winter sports lovers for decades. After a dry summer, there are people thronging the town of Gulmarg after delayed snowfall. Tourism players and adventure lovers from across the country are arriving in Gulmarg for skiing and snowboarding activities.
This is my third time in Gulmarg, and my son and my husband come here almost every year. And I'd never seen any place so beautiful. It's really nice, and skiing especially is very good. The snow quality is very nice.
पूरे दुनिया में नहीं ऐसे नज़ारे मिलेंगे आपको. ये हिंदुस्तान की शान है. यहाँ हर टूरिस्ट को आना चाहिए.
Every corner in Gulmarg offers a postcard-worthy view with the best slopes in South Asia for winter activities. This is not all. It also hosted the Khelo India Winter Games recently, which was a grand success. The slopes at Gulmarg are made for the experienced as well as the beginners. Surrounded by the western Himalayas, Gulmarg has been called the heartland of winter sports. The powdery snow glistens under the sun, inviting enthusiasts to ski down its slopes and embark upon a tranquil walk through the enchanting scenery.
I've come to Kashmir many times. Like, this is my 5th time, I think. Like, I'm learning a lot about skiing here. If I were to do it on my own, I don't know if I would have learned nearly as much. So the trainers are here are really good.
बहुत अच्छा वेदर है यहाँ का, और ये देख के ऐसा लग रहा है कि जन्नत सच में अर्थ पर ही है. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है.
बिल्कुल जन्नत यही है. स्विट्जरलैंड कुछ नहीं है, जो यहाँ इंडिया है.
Gulmarg becomes a sanctuary of serenity and beauty, captivating visitors with its timeless charm and awe-inspiring vistas. Snowfall also attracts ski lovers from countries like Russia, Australia and New Zealand, among others. This year the tourist influx is high, all thanks to heavy snowfall, which has brought joy to the faces of tourism players. The winter bells have attracted people from afar, and all this has led to a surge in flights and hotel bookings, a major boost for tourism in the region. Travellers boarding flights from Delhi to Srinagar roughly pay between 7,500 to 10,000 rupees. If you are boarding a flight from Mumbai or Kolkata, you roughly pay a minimum of 9,000 up until rupees 18,000 by economy class. Travelling from Chennai and Bengaluru can pinch your pocket, as you need to shed a minimum of rupees 13,000 to 25,000 to reach Srinagar. Upon arrival at Srinagar airport, it takes 1 hour and 40 minutes when you take the scenic route by road, and costs rupees 3,000 to 3,500 rupees. Once you reach Gulmarg, the next big task is to fix your accommodation. Options range from cozy hotels with good heating to luxurious 5-star resorts. A decently priced hotel would cost you about rupees 10,000 to 15,000 per night, while the prices would soar up to rupees 30,000 or more for a 5-star resort. A one-way trip to Gulmarg, including flights, the drive to Gulmarg from Srinagar, hotel bookings and expenses for skiing with professional instructors would amount to rupees 23,000 to rupees 45,000 based on tourist preference. Many are comparing Gulmarg with Switzerland in winter because of what it has to offer. According to the estimates of Tourism Department, 33% of the population in J&K is directly or indirectly connected with this tourism activity.
We would always fantasize always going to Switzerland, taking our kids, but why not in Kashmir? I think when you have things and places to locally visit, we should empower our own brothers and sisters who have hotels, especially the guides who teach our children. I have had a very lovely guide with my kid here, very professional, so why not empower our own society?
इंशाल्लाह हमारा मतलब काम यहाँ पर ठीक चल रहा है और गेस्ट भी बहुत सारे आते हैं, तो आएंगे भी. मतलब अभी बुकिंग कैंसिल हो रही थी, तो अब
Welcome back, and as promised, in fact we've been telling you this for a couple of days but never found the time, but today finally we are addressing the issue. we are bringing you a live demo for crash test of Tata Safari. Does that remain intact? Well, Kranti Sambhav clearly has something to say. Watch.
Have you ever wondered how safe your car truly is? If so, then you've likely heard about the NCAP star ratings, a topic of discussion among both Indian customers and manufacturers. Those dramatic slow-motion videos of cars crashing into walls are part of NCAPs, a program that assesses new car safety. Based on how cars handle the forces during a crash, they receive a star rating. Today, we are taking you behind the scenes of a live crash test at Tata Motors Lab to see what goes on.
Interesting case study how your corporate vision can turn into your brand if you keep at it, keep working on it over the years. And this is what safety is for Tata Motors. Right now we are at Tata Motors crash test facility and we are going to watch this live crash testing of Tata Safari at this facility. We'll also try and understand what kind of mechanism goes behind this whole testing, what are different areas, what are the preparations, how these dummies work and how exclusive are they, and how do you capture this crash which lasts for maybe a couple of milliseconds.
Independent agencies like Global NCAP and our own Bharat NCAP conduct these tests in state-of-the-art facilities. High-speed cameras capture every detail, and cars are awarded points based on their performance in three key areas: Adult Occupant Protection (AOP), Child Occupant Protection (COP), and Safety Assist Technologies. Bharat NCAP assigns star ratings from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. To achieve a 5-star rating, manufacturers like Tata Motors strive for the highest possible points in each category. For example, a 5-star rating in adult occupant safety requires a score between 27 and 32, while a 5-star rating in child safety requires a score between 41 and 49.
So this Tata Safari is going to be crash tested today in front of our eyes, and before we do that, before this car is all crumpled up, let's take a look at the settings where crash test is going to happen. First of all, this barrier, which is looking metallic from outside, it has this concrete wall behind it, and then this rig which has this blue attachment. This represents another car coming from opposite direction, and this test will be called offset frontal crash test. So you can see the dummy inside and child seats. This is also fitted with 5 high-speed cameras on the inside and 10 high-speed cameras on the outside.
Dummies are crucial to these tests, and their cost reflects their complexity. Each dummy can cost around 2.5 crore rupees depending on the number of sensors it carries.
Integral part of any crash test are these dummies, and you can see different size, different shapes of these dummies. And very interesting thing about these dummies, they're very expensive, 2.3 to 2.5 crores, and they're fitted with almost 42 sensors. You can see these wires going from head towards the back, and then to the sensor, and then you have sensors in the hands and legs, and you have a dummy for 1.5-year-olds also. You must be wondering why these dummies are so expensive. So the reason is these sensors. They are high precision machines and calibrated for impact up to 100 G within 3 to 4 milliseconds, and these are the sensors which are fitted in different parts of these dummies. For different tests, you have different kind of dummies. For example, this is for side crash test, and the sensors are fitted in a very different manner. They need to be stored in a very specific temperature and humidity zone, which has to be between 18 degrees to 22 degrees, and humidity should be below 70%.
While the actual crash test only lasts a few seconds, extensive preparation takes 3 to 5 days. You might be wondering how many crash tests happen before a car launch. The answer might surprise you. Before reaching the crash test stage, numerous simulated and physical tests are conducted. This lab includes a servo acceleration sled test facility as well. Here, engineers use simulators and rigs to create crash-like scenarios, testing everything from seats and harnesses to dashboard materials and infotainment systems, ensuring they don't cause injuries during an actual crash. Only after these rigorous simulations are cars finally taken for the real crash test. Last year alone, Tata Motors conducted nearly 150 real crash tests, highlighting their commitment to safety. After understanding the entire process, we can imagine the thousands of simulator tests, calibrations, and modifications happening behind these real tests, all with the goal of achieving higher scores and the 5-star rating.
Interesting. So next time you go buy a car, look out for the rating on these tests. That should tell you a little something about which car is actually safe. So thanks to Kranti for bringing us that report. But talking about report, let's talk about the weather. Or should we not? Is it weather report? Is it not? I really don't know. Just watch.
ये चल रहा है, तुम बताते भी नहीं हो यार। एंट्री करा दी। अरे ग्राफिक्स थोड़ा जल्दी चलाओ भैया, तुम्हारे बादल बिजली खत्म नहीं हो रहे, 5 मिनट का स्लॉट में।
ओके, गोइंग फॉर टेक।
हेलो एवरीवन, माय नेम इज अभिजीत भट्ट। आइए जान लेते हैं आज के मौसम का हाल इन टुडेज वेदर रिपोर्ट में। ओ इंटर्न, ये वेदर की स्पेलिंग होती है? ठीक करो इसको यार। हेलो एवरीवन, तो जैसा कि मैं कह रहा था, आइए जान लेते हैं मौसम का हाल। देखिए, नॉर्थ की अगर बात करें तो यहाँ पे ठंडा जो है वो शाहिद कपूर की फिल्म तेरी बातों में ऐसा उलझा जिया को मिले रिस्पॉन्स से भी ज्यादा ठंडा हो रखा है। कई जगह बर्फबारी की आशंका भी हुई है। एंड टू मेक मैटर्स वर्स, पिछले कुछ दिनों में दिल्ली और नोएडा में विंड की स्पीड औरी के बॉलीवुड में नए दोस्त बनाने की स्पीड से भी ज्यादा रिकॉर्ड की गई।
मुझे छोड़ो।
थोड़ा नीचे अगर वेस्ट की तरफ उतरे तो 11 मार्च को है बोर्ड्स के मैथ्स का एग्जाम, इसलिए आंसुओं की हेवी बरसात की पूरी आशंका की जा रही है। ईस्ट जोन की अगर बात करें तो यहाँ मौसम हो चुका है बहुत ही रेनी, RAINY, रहना अब इनसाइड नहीं यार, बिकॉज यहाँ पे मौसम हो चुका है बहुत ही प्लेजेंट, इसलिए लोग उतनी ही भीड़ में बाहर घूमने निकल रहे हैं जितनी भीड़ में पूरा बॉलीवुड अनंत और राधिका की प्री वेडिंग फेस्टिविटीज को अटेंड करने के लिए निकला था। डाउन साउथ जिन लोगों ने ये वैलेंटाइंस डे भी अकेले मनाया था, उनके लव लाइफ के ही जैसे मौसम में भी सूखा जारी है।
ये दुख का खत्म नहीं होता बे।
मध्य भारत की अगर बात करें तो यहाँ कई क्षेत्रों में भयंकर बाढ़ आने की आशंका है और सहारनपुर से गुड्डन के माँ बाप का कहना है कि ऐसा इसलिए होगा क्योंकि उनका बड़ा बेटा बबलू पूरा दिन फोन पे लगा रहता है। इसके साथ ही उत्तर पश्चिम क्षेत्रों में ओरी गिरने की भारी आशंका जताई जा रही है।
अरे ओरी नहीं, ओले
सॉरी, नॉट ओरी, ओले गिरने की भारी आशंका जताई जा रही है। इसलिए अगर आप अपने घर से बाहर निकल रहे हैं तो आप अपनी कोट या जैकेट को ऊपर करके उसका एक टेम्पररी छाता बना सकते हैं। मेरे से ठीक से हो नहीं रहा है, लेकिन हमारी वेदर रिपोर्ट गर्ल उर्फी आपको एक बढ़िया सा डेमो करके बताएगी। बेटा उर्फी दिखाओ। दिस ब्रिंग्स अस टू द एंड ऑफ टुडेज वेदर रिपोर्ट। देखिए, थोड़ा सा अपना ध्यान रखिए क्योंकि मौसम भी खराब चल रहा है। दिस इज मी अभिजीत भट्ट सेइंग गुड बाय। दिन के बाद रात के जैसे मिलते रहेंगे आपसे बरसात के जैसे। टाटा।
मिलते रहेंगे बरसात के जैसे. If you also want more interactions with Abhijit, do write into us with your feedback. We'll get him to bring more fun on the show as well. With that, it's time to look at what else is happening across the country and the world on this Wednesday morning. Did you know, or did you also face an absolute sort of no server working on Instagram, on Facebook and on Threads last evening? Well, I clearly did, and we went into a panic and realized it's happening all over. Also, did you know it's World Dentist Day? Here's a wrap.
Instagram, Facebook, Threads and Messenger platforms faced global outage yesterday for over 30 minutes, leaving users struggling to log into their accounts. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, issued an apology for the inconvenience caused by the outage. Taking a jibe at Meta, Elon Musk posted, "If you're reading this post, it's because our servers are working," prompting immediate reactions from users on social media platform X. Jeff Bezos surges back to the top of the wealth rankings, reclaiming the title of the world's richest person. With a staggering net worth of $200 billion, Bezos surpasses Elon Musk, whose fortunes have dwindled amidst Tesla's stock decline and the annulment of his massive compensation agreement. March 6th marks a significant occasion in India as the nation celebrates National Dentists' Day. This day serves as a poignant reminder to acknowledge and express gratitude towards dental professionals for their dedication and commitment to improving oral hygiene and overall well-being. Meta announced a major update for Instagram. Instagram now allows users to edit their direct messages within a 15-minute window after sending them. With this new feature, editing a DM is as simple as pressing and holding the message, selecting the edit option from the drop-down menu and making necessary changes. The edited message will be marked with an edited label, offering users greater control over their conversations on the platform. Parag Agrawal and other former top brass of Twitter launched a legal battle against Elon Musk and X Corporation, seeking over $128 million in unpaid severance. Now alleging unjust termination without any cause following Musk's acquisition of Twitter, the executives claim entitlement to 1-year salary and unvested stock awards. The lawsuit underscores tensions surrounding Musk's takeover and subsequent rebranding of Twitter. In a landmark decision, French lawmakers unanimously passed a bill embedding abortion rights into the country's constitution, making France the sole nation to explicitly safeguard a woman's right to choose. Now, President Emmanuel Macron's initiative aims to fortify abortion access amid global challenges to reproductive freedoms. Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, was recently spotted for the first time since undergoing abdominal surgery earlier this year. In the pictures, Middleton can be seen sitting in the passenger seat of the car being driven by her mother near Windsor Castle. She tried to maintain a low profile by wearing sunglasses and sporting a slight smile. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong faces scrutiny over the exclusive agreement that prevents Taylor Swift's Eras Tour from visiting other Southeast Asian countries amidst talks of humanitarian crisis and territorial disputes. Lee defends the deal, citing incentive provided to Swift, but refrains from disclosing costs or addressing potential diplomatic tensions arising from the arrangement.
All right, so with that, it's a wrap on today's episode. We'll see you again tomorrow. Also, remember, Women's Day is coming up and we've got a very interesting panel for you. But if you have comments, you have questions, you have our feedback numbers and handles over there, please write into us. We would love to hear from what you lovely women and men have to say on this occasion. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Go powered by.
तो अब बुकिंग फिर से आ रही है.
Each snowflake adds to the allure of this picturesque destination as the pristine white layer drapes over the majestic mountains and lush forests.
Not only tourists or people who have already booked their visits to Kashmir, but also those who are associated with this business, because snowfall would mean that more and more people will come here to Gulmarg and enjoy its mesmerizing beauty and the slopes that it has to offer, particularly in the winter season. With Bashir Lone in Gulmarg, Ishanwani for CNN News 18.
All right, so like I said, middle of the week and we are all looking for a bit of inspiration, and like we promised last week, we will take you back to Kashmir. This time we will go to Gulmarg, where it snowed finally after the delay and winter activities have started. If you are somebody who've been thinking about skiing, I certainly have. It's for the young and the old, it's for people of all ages, and it is also much more affordable, let me put it that way, than going to Switzerland, because this is no less. So of course, Ishan, making all of us jealous, is back on the slopes of Gulmarg, and this is what he found out.
Night time, the temperatures here dips up to -12 degrees Celsius. But in the morning, what keeps people going in Gulmarg is its mesmerizing beauty.
The winter paradise of Kashmir, Gulmarg welcomes people after a long pause. Located north of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Gulmarg has attracted travellers, tourists and winter sports lovers for decades. After a dry summer, there are people thronging the town of Gulmarg after delayed snowfall. Tourism players and adventure lovers from across the country are arriving in Gulmarg for skiing and snowboarding activities.
This is my third time in Gulmarg, and my son and my husband come here almost every year. And I'd never seen any place so beautiful. It's really nice, and skiing especially is very good. The snow quality is very nice.
पूरे दुनिया में नहीं ऐसे नज़ारे मिलेंगे आपको. ये हिंदुस्तान की शान है. यहाँ हर टूरिस्ट को आना चाहिए.
Every corner in Gulmarg offers a postcard-worthy view with the best slopes in South Asia for winter activities. This is not all. It also hosted the Khelo India Winter Games recently, which was a grand success. The slopes at Gulmarg are made for the experienced as well as the beginners. Surrounded by the western Himalayas, Gulmarg has been called the heartland of winter sports. The powdery snow glistens under the sun, inviting enthusiasts to ski down its slopes and embark upon a tranquil walk through the enchanting scenery.
I've come to Kashmir many times, like this is my 5th time I think. Like I'm learning a lot about skiing here. If I were to do it on my own, I don't know if I would have learned nearly as much. So the trainers are here are really good.
बहुत अच्छा वेदर है यहाँ का और ये देख के ऐसा लग रहा है कि जन्नत सच में अर्थ पर ही है. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है.
बिल्कुल जन्नत यही है. स्विट्जरलैंड कुछ नहीं है, जो यहाँ इंडिया है.
Gulmarg becomes a sanctuary of serenity and beauty, captivating visitors with its timeless charm and awe-inspiring vistas. Snowfall also attracts ski lovers from countries like Russia, Australia and New Zealand among others. This year the tourist influx is high, all thanks to heavy snowfall which has brought joy to the faces of tourism players. The winter bells have attracted people from afar, and all this has led to a surge in flights and hotel bookings, a major boost for tourism in the region. Travellers boarding flights from Delhi to Srinagar roughly pay between 7,500 to 10,000 rupees. If you are boarding a flight from Mumbai or Kolkata, you roughly pay a minimum of 9,000 up until rupees 18,000 by economy class. Travelling from Chennai and Bengaluru can pinch your pocket, as you need to shed a minimum of rupees 13,000 to 25,000 to reach Srinagar. Upon arrival at Srinagar airport, it takes 1 hour and 40 minutes when you take the scenic route by road and costs rupees 3,000 to 3,500 rupees. Once you reach Gulmarg, the next big task is to fix your accommodation. Options range from cozy hotels with good heating to luxurious 5-star resorts. A decently priced hotel would cost you about rupees 10,000 to 15,000 per night, while the prices would soar up to rupees 30,000 or more for a 5-star resort. A one-way trip to Gulmarg including flights, the drive to Gulmarg from Srinagar, hotel bookings and expenses for skiing with professional instructors would amount to rupees 23,000 to rupees 45,000 based on tourist preference. Many are comparing Gulmarg with Switzerland in winter because of what it has to offer. According to the estimates of tourists,
Hello and a very good morning to all our viewers out there. You're watching the Morning News Show on CNN News 18 and I'm Sriya Kundu here with all the latest updates of the hour and the top stories of the day from across the country and around the world, which we'll take you through in the next 60 minutes. And well, we begin the bulletin with